Hey cousins, welcome back to RoReactz TV, where we react, review, and recap skits from the Kountry skit universe. But you know what? We don't just watch over here. So sit back and let's get into this scene. Now, Joslyn told Melisa at the store that Sonny was on the Punta Cana trip with Mike. Melisa tried to act like she knew already, but she didn't, and it hurt her little soul. Now, Melissa's upset with Mike, and Mike is going to call himself checking Joslyn. So the scene opens up with Mike sitting in his red robe, and he gives Joslyn a call on the phone. Joslyn picks up. She says, "Hello." He says, "Did I disturb your sleep?" She says, "Actually, you did." He says, "Oh, I'm sorry." She says, "Oh, well, what's up?" He says, "I'm trying to figure out what I did to you that's going to make you want to destroy my home." She says, "Mike, what? What are you talking about?" He says, "Oh, you confused?" He says, "You know what you did, girl." She says, "Well, what did I do?" He takes a deep breath and scratches his head. He says, "So, Melisa didn't come home because she was hurt and upset, so she stayed at her mama's house." He says, "Apparently, when y'all was supposed to be handling business, you went to talking about my business." She said, "When did I go talking about your business?" He says, "Okay, here we go. Joslyn, stop playing games." He was like, "You told her that Sonny came to Punta Cana. What's all the snitching for?" He says, "What's going on? Ain't you supposed to be street?" Joslyn jumps in. She says, "Wasn't nobody trying to be snitching on you. I was just having a conversation with your business partner, and information just came out. And had I known clearly that you was lying about that, maybe you to let me know, I could have covered up the lie. I thought we was trying to be honest around here. I wasn't trying to be snitching." Mike says, "Oh, okay. So information that ain't got nothing to do with that store came out. That's what you telling me. It just came out your mouth." Joslyn says, "We were in the middle of a conversation, and where our conversation was going, it was relevant. That's it." He says, "Well, how was it relevant?" He says, "How is it relevant what I got going on in Punta Cana at a clothing store?" Joslyn says, "Mike, you wasn't there. I'm telling you, you don't understand how the conversation went." He says, "Make it make sense." She says, "What do you mean make it make sense? We was having a conversation." He says, "Yeah, I heard that part." She says, and she may have said something, and that may be what have prompted me to say the things about Punta Cana. I was just telling the girl that I was impressed by the fact that her man went on a trip with his ex and she wasn't stressed by that. That was it, Mike. Wasn't nobody trying to shade you. It wasn't nothing that deep. You calling me at this time and you doing too much." Mike says, "So basically you telling me that you got my relationship in jeopardy because you being petty?" She says, "Well," and then Mike tries to turn into Mike the Menace on her. He says, "Joslyn, let me tell you, let me cut you off right now." And he has this face like, "Oh, I'm about to tear you up. I'm about to let you know what's up, girl. Because I'm not Rafi. I'm going to say what I feel. You can't check me." He says, "Let me cut you off and tell you this. I ain't the one. I know we know each other and we cool, but a pit bull, see the thing about a pit bull, he hurts, all right? And just because you cool with the pit bull and the pit bull lets you pet it, don't think them same teeth that'll shatter a bone won't shatter everybody's bones." He says, "You understand what I'm telling you?" Well, he has Joslyn's attention. She says, "Mike, are you threatening me right now?" And then the camera pans in and Mike, he has a moment of clarity. You could tell his mind is thinking. She says, "Are you threatening me?" He says, Nah. I ain't saying like physically." She said, "Well, what? That's what it sound like to me." She says, "It sounds like you're threatening me." He says, Nah, I ain't saying like physical. I'm talking about like spiritually." She says, Spiritually." He says, I mean like spiritually, I'm just saying that you probably shouldn't be doing stuff like that." She says, oh, okay. She's laying there. She scratches her nose. She said, "Well, the point is this. I'm asleep. I don't have time for this, Mike. I said what I said. It ain't that serious." He takes the phone away from his mouth. He said, "You said what you said. You said what you said." She says, "What do you want me to do?" He's still talking to himself with the phone away from his mouth, talking about, "You said what you said, girl." He puts the phone back to his mouth. He says, "All right, cool. I'ma holla at you then. Don't worry about it. It's all good." She say, "Okay, perfect." He says, "All right." She says, "Yeah, hangs up the phone. He's upset because things did not go the way he played it out in his mind. He didn't check her like he wanted to, but he's going to act as though he did when he speaks to his brother Ralphie. Anyway, y'all drop y'all thoughts in the comments. That was a recap of Joslyn and Mike, and I'll see you guys on the next skit.